Okay, we've
redraw
got
for Slepher.
Slepher. Yeah, Slepher at the bottom of the screen, probably a redraw, and then iplongno on the TGS mid at the top of your screen. Probably a redraw, I would think. And on iplongno side, I'll have to get their hand cam coming here in a second. All right, so just taking a look from Slepher's side, did go for the redraw. This one looks better. A little light on Justice Influence, but I think they can probably find that. And this is not going to be a matchup where they're going to get beat down super early, so they probably have some time to find that here.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to keep this. Like you have time to delay. You'll be able to set up Aegis quickly enough, I think. You might lose like one of your wraths to an exploit, but I think you just have to be prepared for that.
Yeah. All right, just waiting on them to get started here. Or peeks behind the curtain today.
That's it's one of my pet peeves in the game, the way that I try to chat somebody. I've done that a bunch too, where you're like, I'm going to talk to this person, and then the game states change in your friends lineup and you hit the wrong person.
The number of times that I've hit the wrong spectate mode and popped open on stream the wrong spectate happens more than I'd like to admit. But
and they're like, hey man, get out of my game. And you're like, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I'm not a spy.
all right, so what's the game plan here for Slepher? Is the game plan the same as it is with most decks, where you're just going to try to remove every threat and just rely on the late game? Is Scourge of Frostholm effective in this matchup? Now, it's not quite as spell heavy as some of the other decks. They still have a lot of units, so it's probably not going to take care of everything. But if you can land a Scourge of Frostholm, it does shut off a lot of what iplongno can do.
I guess that's true. It turns off a lot of the engine pieces, but isn't going to address the unit issue. Like
Right.
Diana still flies over the dinosaur.
Right.
So I think I like some combination of pressure with Stormhalt Knife and Channel the Tempest and Torches to close out the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think burning the face is the way that you're going to establish your reach, because I think even against this like late game control deck, the value deck is going to have units in play.
Eternal K, thank you so much for the follow. Much appreciated. All right, Hailstorm on top. I don't think we're going to like that one. 3 damage doesn't seem to be super effective against iplongno's deck.
I think
either.
it only hits smugglers.
Yep. I think Slepher's going to toss that one to the bottom. One of the other things with this control deck is I believe that it's really important to just keep hitting your power, right? You don't want to miss a power up, especially early, which Slepher's not really in danger to, but the more you can just toss cards like Hailstorm that aren't really effective, and even if it's replaced with a Silex or something else, is perfectly fine. You just want to keep hitting that power, keep developing. You have a lot of
I'm not sure.
a lot of influence requirements on the deck too.
I don't know what you should merchant for here.
Yeah, that's
like
tough.
I think I'm in for turning the Defiance into something else, but I don't think I like Royal Decree against iplongno's deck. And so I guess we're just gonna wait.
I mean, it's probably too early to grab Royal Decree or any of these late games. You're not going to grab Lightning Storm, so it's tough. You could always just grab a reread if you want it for later, but I don't love firing off a merchant and grabbing something that might be useful later.
No, I think it's fine to hold in light of there not really being something that you want to grab right now.
I think we're waiting on. I think it's iplongno's turn. I think we're waiting on them to make a play here. Apologies for the delay, everyone. All right. They're looking at a hand of From Beyond and Roland. Here we go. and a couple power here. All right.
I'm surprised to not see the From Beyond get fired off. They must be planning on just turning it into Mave. Like, every unit cycling seems really good. Huh. I wonder why you do it now instead of... If you were going to get Royal Decree, wouldn't it have made more sense to get it on turn 3? All right, my mind is exploding. I can't keep up with these guys. Too smart for me.
All right. Back in action here. Slepher's going to play. Scout another land to the bottom. Attack for 2. And here comes the Royal Decree.
I wonder if iplongno is protecting the From Beyond from getting Royal Decreed.
Potentially, but getting your rolling
Whoa.
hit is tough too.
Oh.
Ooh, I love that.
Roland's not as good against these late as against unitless, is it?
Probably not, because they have so many ways to deal with it. iplongno's looking at a hand full of power now and just a Desert Marshal. So the Desert Marshal, of course, could take out this merchant.
Desert Marshal also has the side bonus of silencing the dinosaur if it comes to that.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good point. If you can hold on that long, and if it comes down to that, it's something you could do. All right, exploit off the top. iplongno is going to fire that off. I assume they're going to plunder away one of these sigils for a trove.
Yeah, when I've played spell heavy decks that have Desert Marshal in them that lose to the dinosaur, I would do everything in my power to never play that Desert Marshal.
Yeah, that's smart. Another crest off the top. I see a knife. Well, so this is what I was talking about. They're going to keep the knife on top. And as I mentioned before the round, it's effective even in non-aggro matchups. All right, know thy enemy off the top for iplongno. Not great here.
I think you just fire it off.
I guess you can fire it off just to get units. Yeah, I mean, just a blind pair of units here, I guess. But oh, that's pretty good. Turn it into a Diana.
Ooh, only one a unit.
All right, and there's the knife. Slepher has no problem seeing a Diana there with the knife on board. And chipping away with 2 per turn.
Do you go for the classic don't use? Yeah. No influence grab there. Protect the armor on the knife.
All right, now 2 ambush units here. They did get a Pride Leader out here. So that Pride Leader is going to be pretty nice, because that can destroy this weapon. That actually can do both, right? Can he ambush?
You'd have to lose it if you want to gain life and... Yeah. So you just destroy the relic here.
Yep, destroy the relic. Not going to be able to eat the merchant, but that's fine.
I guess you could have taken 5.
That was the other question I was saying. Do you take 5, eat the unit, and then blow it up? But here comes the hurler. And as we mentioned before this round, Slepher making value out of things like a full cost weapon or even the 3/3 hurler. Just being able to use sort of your leftovers, for lack of a better word, to actually do some damage and put some threats on the board. Pretty nice way in this team. All right. Wisdom of the Elder is going to hit 2 gardens. Gotta love that.
I think you're safe to play the first one.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't think of a reason not to. Like, you have a good double block on the Sabretooth, and you have the Valkyrie Enforcer covered by Defiance.
Mm-hmm. Sure do.
Just get an Honor Clause. I guess not. What do I know? Nothing.
That's okay. We can ice bolt the Enforcer too.
I guess you guarantee that you want to hit a unit.
All right, Speaking Circle off the top. That's a great draw for iplongno. That's gonna kill this garden. It's gonna blank the other garden. That might turn the tides here a little bit. And Slepher, while they have good things in hand, they don't actually have good ways to pressure a site. They don't have great ways to pressure a Speaking Circle. So huge draw there for iplongno. Gonna see Remembrance off the top.
Gotta wait for this like castle. Diana, man, Oh, it can't hit. Remembrance can't hit Diana.
Can't hit Diana, but it can hit the Enforcer, and I think it still gets the silence effect if you need that. Treachery, deal 2 damage. They discard a site or unit of your choice. And Display of Tradition. You're going to fire off the display, silence the enemy Void, and draw a card. I think the Void is going to matter that much. I guess it could with some rebuys, with some rereads and Savage Incursions, but
I think silencing spells is such a cool space to play with.
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't see that come up that often, but yeah, silencing spells. There's the Savage Incursion. Gonna deal 3, and they have the Snowball, so Slepher can actually take this out. So nice of Slepher to be able to do that. They can't get the Garden, but now their Garden is protected because they no longer have the Speaking Circle's abilities, so they can deploy the second Garden. So it's hard to get a Speaking Circle off the board, but nice plays there by Slepher to take care of it.
See what iplongno is looking for out of the market.
There's Svetya.
Svetya. It's a big threat.
Big threat. Now Slepher has Harsh Rule. If they have Harsh Rule and Hailstorm. They can get rid of the Svetya.
They can. I'd be concerned about the follow-up Dianas like that. We need to. I think Slepher is now in a position where Slepher is pressed to close out the game.
You also have Garden, so you can Garden, Ice Bolt, Harsh Rule. You have a lot of options here, actually. Even you can't quite Garden Harsh Rule Hailstorm with the reduced cost. Close to that, actually. And fire off Resurface here. We cannot see, unfortunately, what Slepher put on top.
My guess would be either Honor of Claws or Channel the Tempest.
I agree. Get some refill your hand a little bit.
I guess you get Honor first and hope to find the channel.
All right, iplongno going to attack in with the Svetya and the Pride Leader. Drew a 8/8 Desert Marshal off the top.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, where now Slepher is the one who has to close out the game because they will lose to all these Aegis units coming off the top that are huge.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. Big Aegis threats every turn, every unit draw for iplongno is going to put Slepher in a tough position no matter how many cards they have in hand. All right. You were right. Honor of Claws was put on the top.
I think it's going to be fast enough.
Hurler, Snowball, Knife, and Hailstorm. Gotta love the Honor of Claws drawing Hurler, getting 3 cards, and then discarding the Hurler, so you get a full, you get a straight up draw 3 cards.
How many cards are in iplongno's deck? Because the way to win this game might actually be buying back Savage Incursion so that you can race in the air.
Yeah.
That's probably the best path now.
Got, let's see, 12 in the Void, 49 in the deck. Can you rebuy Savage Incursion?
It's not going to make units yet, so that plan's not great.
You need to get a bunch more cards first. But I like that plan, though.
Let's see if they go Dino.
They go reread, I think.
It's just going to be too slow.
The key number is 20, right? We're at 14. Yeah, you got to get 6 more cards in 6 more cards discarded, and then Savage Incursion. I think it's going to be way too slow, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the cards that are likely to go to the Void are things like Exploit. I know it's a tournament. If I were Slepher, I would pack it in here. I don't see a path for myself, but I also don't play a lot of this Honor deck. Like the Dinosaur is too small now.
And they also have Enforcer in hand, so it can silence the Dino too. Silencing it's not really a huge effect, but yeah, it's not gonna be enough.
You're not going to protect the site long enough to get the unit off off the site. So like your best bet, our best bet is racing in the air and like reach with Channel the Tempest now. But even that is, we're pretty far away from that.
That's a good draw off the top.
Yep.
Ouch.
It hurts.
Turning your plunder from your exploit. So that was it was exploiting, taking a card from Slepher's hand, turning your extra sigil into a 8/10 Diana.
The draw engine of this TJS deck is strong.
All right, and that's going to be game 1 to iplongno. This TJS deck has really shown up today. Get ready to play this a lot on ladder. That'll be fun.
I've already been seeing a lot of it. I don't think it's that fun.
I guess the one thing you have going for you is it's not the fastest deck in the world, so maybe people will avoid it on ladder. But yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. This deck is very powerful. All right, see if we have any results. We have Frafa 2-0 over Stormguard. Not Stormguard's day today. Still the #1 player right now, but taking an L here to Frafa. So good luck, Stormguard. We'll see you next time. We have Uriku and Ash Acer tied at 1, and we have the Burgund took the first game over Prakalakin. And then, of course, we saw iplongno take game 1 over Slepher as well. Apple Chips and Wolf are tied, as is Mojo, Blojo, and Chamomile. Neither of those have had a game complete yet. All right. Looking at Slepher's hand, we have 3 power, Harsh Rule. We've got a Petition, a Merchant, and a Torch. Not a bad start.
That sounds good to me. Though Torch not at its strongest in this matchup. Same kind of reason Hailstorm's not. There's not a lot that it hits.
Yeah.
But if your plan is to fly over and get some chip damage and then close out with Burn, it doesn't hurt to have the Torch in hand already.
Still hurts me that it doesn't hit the sites. Not that it would even take out a Speaking Circle, but it would be a little better if you could hit the sites there. All right, iplongno looking at a hand of 3 power, a Speaking Circle, a Know Thy Enemy, a Pride Leader, 2 Know Thy Enemies, a Pride Leader, Speaking Circle, and 3 power. And there's an exploit off the top. That's pretty good. Pretty good turn 2 play. When your hand is 4/4/4/6, grabbing a nice turn 2 play is pretty good to have.
I mean, if you want a sweet controversial take, I still think Torch should be fast.
I don't think that's as controversial as maybe it sounds. I think, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen the days of dominating fire in a long time. I think Torch could be fast as well.
I don't mind that it's slow, but I am of the opinion it would be fine as fast.
All right,
but that's okay.
These mid to late game decks, just spending the first couple turns developing, nothing new there. Slepher's going to keep a Wisdom of the Elders on top. Here comes the exploit from iplongno. Let's see if they plunder away something in hand. They have 1 more power in hand, but that's all they have. So I wouldn't be that surprised if they plunder away just one of these multiple threats, just to make sure that they hit their power drops. Because a quick way to lose with this deck is to just be stuck on power at 3. So you want to make sure you can deploy a power every turn and make sure you can deploy your expensive threats.
Yeah, and especially if you're plundering something like... I think Roland is a fine card to plunder in this deck. Or in this matchup.
And they're going to plunder away their backup copy of Know Thy Enemy or a Shadow Sigil.
That also makes sense.
Slepher's going to fire off the Wisdom. Going to see a Merchant and a Vanquish. And a Keep an Honor Clause on top. So play power and scout your card draw to the top. Seems like a good strategy. And Display of Vision. Tutor your deck for power. Or a Silex, which is going to give you a Treasure Trove.
Ooh, and they found more power.
Exploit. So you see this change a little bit in the last year. Cards like Exploit, cards like the Silexes, ways for you to, pretty much anything with Plunder, really. It's Plunder and Silexes, ways to get value off of your power, your leftover power, ways to sculpt your hand and to make sure that you don't miss your power drops and turn your late game power into other things. Silexes drawing you cards. There's a lot more consistency to these mid-range decks, and you don't really get power screwed as much, and just really allows these stronger, these more mid to late game decks to deploy threats and to stay more consistent than maybe they were last year.
Yeah, I like I like iplongno going after the market of Slepher because I think iplongno has identified that Silverblade or Savage Incursion plan being the one of the big ways to lose the matchup. Because they're like, I can eventually beat the knife, and you can outdraw like all of your units cycle, or a lot of your units cycle, and so you don't have to worry so much about all the harsh rule effects.
Yep.
Also, you
Right.
can just beat
Slepher
circle.
gonna leave a merchant on top, similar to what you were saying, just understanding the power of the market here. But iplongno with a huge turn 6 play, they're gonna deploy a Speaking Circle, really the first meaningful thing to hit the board here in the whole game. Speaking Circle is going to see a Water of Life, maybe not the most impactful spell, but then a Training Ground and a Vision of Austerity.
Wow.
So, kind of weak hits there, but
Vision is really good against knife.
Yeah, Vision's really good against knife.
So like you can't play the knife for a while.
A little bit blanks, but it doesn't. That's the thing about Speaking Circle is it almost doesn't even matter if some of your hits are weak because just the power of Queen of Glass and the power of just the site itself and shutting off enemy sites, it's just so powerful on its own that even if you just get halfway decent draws off of it, it's a good card.
Yeah, or like two bad draws and a blowout draw is still fine.
Yeah.
I think you have to merchant here, right? I don't know what you merchant for, but I'm pretty sure you have to.
Now, Slepher's deck is a little less worried about Queen of Glass than other decks might be, right? So Slepher can deal with Queen of Glass with Harsh Rule and other effects. But
that's true. Queen of Glass still makes the Harsh Rule awkward.
I mean, obviously you want to kill it if you can, but it's not the end of the world. Other decks we've seen, if they get Queen of Glass, the game's just over. Not so much here, but you still want to prevent it from happening. But I'm not sure Slepher has any way to prevent that from happening right now. You have no units on the board. You don't really have any direct damage.
Yeah, I guess your plan is kill all the units before the Queen of Glass comes down and then trade Harsh Rule for Queen of Glass.
Yeah. Here comes a Smuggler for iplongno.
Probably getting the Svetya.
Yep, there's the Svetya.
I feel like that's a good way to close things out.
It is. This Svetya is really good in this matchup. With power in hand, iplongno is going to be able to deploy that this turn, and I'm not sure Slepher is going to be able to do much about that.
I actually think this is a good turn to torch the... If you put iplongno on Svetya, this is a good turn to torch, hit them in the face, and then Royal Decree the Svetya.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we have the benefit of knowing what they got, but I think that's a safe. It's a little scary because I think you really want the Savage Incursion.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good play. And Slepher did see, obviously, last game that was crucial and saw how powerful that Svetya was, and did see that iplongno just went to the market. So I don't think it's that crazy of an assumption to think that, hey, you're on 7 power, you just went to the market, this is what won the last game. That's what iplongno would go for here. And with the consistency of the power, you have to assume that they are going to be able to cast it this turn or the next turn. So I think that's actually a really smart play, Gato.
And Slepher's a better player than I am, so in Slepher we trust. There it is.
It's still, yeah, it still works to do that. You don't need to use the torch, right? Because the onslaught's still triggered.
Yeah, that's true. I think again, this goes back to like what's the main plan of the deck? How is the deck gonna win? And if the plan is get in chip damage with knife until you can't anymore, and then close with burn.
Although I guess the onslaught didn't even matter either, right? Because that's the only card.
The only card that mattered, yeah.
So it didn't really matter. You could just file a Royal Decree either way. So chat's probably screaming at us there, talking through the getting the onslaught, but still great
chat. We got the important part. You had to Royal Decree the Svetya.
Exactly, which you did. So Svetya's off the table. So that at least is the first enemy answered for Slepher. But all right, 2 good hits off Know Thy Enemy. Yeah, so one Pride Leader blowing up the knife, and then Smuggler going to get to go to the market again. Good hits for Longno, and then Queen of Glass coming next turn. Gonna grab a Reality Ward in there.
Yeah, just another big dude that requires an answer. Is this Hailstorm double snowball to clear the board so that you can kill the Queen of Glass? And hope that iplongno doesn't have units to play on their turn?
Snowball number 1. Attacking the site. This is Torch coming here. Take care
No,
of
this will be Hailstorm, right? Nope. Okay.
Just gonna take care of the Pride Leader. Okay. Well, all right. Slepher's got a unit on the board. iplongno's gonna get the Queen of Glass here.
The bastion must be destroyed.
Oh no! It's always the second speaking circle that gets you.
They always come in packs.
Always, it's just like Big Icaria, right? They just one then the other. All right.
Oh man, I miss Big Icaria. Whatever happened to Big Icaria?
Right. All right. Mug, Greed's Reward, and a Fearless Crescendo. Okay. Oh no. That's gonna take.
Yeah.
That's gonna take the harsh rule. Nice flip off of that speaking circle for iplongno to get that mug.
Yep.
And of course, the best part of these sites is the premium sites. The foil sites give you the foil version of each card played. So.
All right. You take 1. Discard spells don't beat the top of the deck.
Taco Gandhi, thank you so much for the raid. Much appreciated. And the follow. Thank you. Welcome, everybody, from Taco Gandhi stream. Greed's Reward there. I'm gonna draw a card, but that's fine. iplongno's hand looks like we got the Reality Warden we talked about, double Know Thy Enemy, Display of Vision, and a Valkyrie Enforcer. So I wouldn't even say that it was little by little. It kind of came quickly, but it's like iplongno's just gonna just chip away, and these just get more further and further and further ahead. And I don't really know what Slepher can do at this point.
We've already seen. Is that 2 harsh rolls we've seen? We see
At
there are
least 2.
3 more. There are 3 more effects, and you need to draw them naturally.
Going to the market again. Does iplongno have anything they can grab out of the market?
Banish, I think.
Banish, yeah.
Or Pristine Light.
They grab Banish.
But I think Banish
another
makes
one.
more sense.
There's Reality Warden. Now, clock's on Slepher. Slepher's got to draw something here. Well, Honor's a good start.
Honor into harsh roll is not bad.
Garden, Hailstorm, Torch. Double. Well, you can't double Hailstorm this turn, but you can. Next turn, you can double Hailstorm plus Snowball or Torch to take care of everything.
No, you
Oh,
can't, because Queen of Glass will be in play.
Oh no, Queen of Glass will be in play next turn. Oh no.
That might be it, folks.
Yeah. The second speaking circle. So Slepher had just enough to survive the first speaking circle, take care of Queen of Glass, but when you land the Queen of Glass and just follow up with a second speaking circle, that's asking a lot of anyone to be able to deal with that. Display of Vision.
If there's power in IP's hand, this is just game, right?
Here comes the Queen. Maeve Walker of Aeons here. The writing is on the wall. Nothing Slepher can do. And iplongno, great shape. This deck has really shown up today. Even without the Svetya. Had the Svetya too. We can't forget that Slepher had to do a play to get rid of the Svetya to even survive.
Yep. You're gonna just torch yourself.
Go out in style.
I mean...
Oh, there's the double Hailstorm.
Might as well snowball the Reality Warden. Oh?
Now, do
Oh!
these die?
They will die.
They do die. Okay. Okay.
But the Reality Warden lives, so it's still lethal.
Ah, Reality Warden. Yep, look at that. So didn't have quite enough. These will all die, but Reality Warden's going to stay with 1 extra health there. Nothing Slepher can do. Plus a Pride Leader just for the rubbins. Probably the most disappointing thing is what you mentioned, that Slepher didn't go out torching the face for the style points. All right, congratulations, iplongno, on taking that one. 2-0 for iplongno. Going to take that one, and iplongno is going to go ahead, and they should really secure themselves into a good slot here